Welcome back to Tied Down TV, the Punk Rock Opinion Show with me, Geoff.
I'm Danny.
Today we're doing top 5 genres we can't stand. There's
almost hated music genres. Now, I class myself as a pretty open-minded guy.
I would say the same about myself.
But I think it's important to have a filter when it comes to being a true music fan, because otherwise you'll end up like Barbara from down the road, who will listen to anything. I listen to anything. I'm mad, I listen to anything. Listen to this Cannibal Corpse CD. You know, so...
As someone once said, actually, it does kind of ring true. It's like, as much as you can love a lot of music, if you love everything, you've actually got no taste.
It is true.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, I do consider myself a pretty open-minded guy, and as I said a couple of weeks ago, I do allow myself to be influenced by people's music tastes.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be stuff that you can't stand. Someone posted a comment on here on one of our videos. We did a similar video a couple of weeks ago about punk bands we don't like, and someone said if you don't like them, just don't listen to them. Well, you're always going to get exposed to stuff you don't like.
Yeah.
And you know,
I think it's pretty obvious we don't listen to a lot of that by choice. Like,
of course, of course.
I mean?
And you know, for the it's a bit of fun in a video like this. You know, you hopefully you guys are going to join in and you're going to say, look, blah blah blah. You know what you think.
Yeah.
But like I said, I consider myself pretty open-minded. But there's definitely, I could have put a few more on here. There's definitely some whole genres that I can't stand. A few out there.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, Geoff, I'm looking at some of yours, and some of them I'm not even sure what they are. I've got an idea. So with that being said, what is K-pop and why can't you stand it?
Okay, yeah, so that's my first pick, K-pop. So K-pop, Korean pop music, basically it stands for. It's centered around this whole thing. It's called like idol culture, I think that they refer it to. Very manufactured, you know, hand-picked for the way they look. They're regimented on their weight. You know, there's a darkness behind this genre. I actually feel like a lot of it, and I'm not taking anything away from the abilities and talent. I know the band BTS, who are fucking huge.
I don't know about anything you're talking about right now.
You know, all very talented. They all do their own solo stuff, all that, and you know, sure, it's great. It's not for me. However, I feel like this genre is actually like a little bit of a thingy in the music world, because, like I say, if you do a bit of research about that idol culture, there's a lot of history of like suicides, abuse. People are like bullied into staying skinny and all these kinds of like. It's horrible. And then when you get
out, kind of modern pop music, though.
Maybe you could argue, but this is like centered on that. It's like I say, idol culture. They've got to look like idols, all this kind of thing. And look, a lot of the like I say, it's big in the UK as well. The music itself is, I think, generic carbon copy of a carbon fucking copy of a carbon fucking copy. A lot of the time. I can't distinguish between a lot of the songs in terms of, you know, whether this is that band or that band. That's probably because I'm not a massive fan of it anyway. But like I say, like my two main gripes is I do think that a lot of the music, I hear a lot of the songs, I just think it just sounds like fucking 50. All the songs that are on the radio at the moment, and that whole idol culture, I just think it's dark, and it's a lot of things that are wrong in music today.
It's a music shit then?
Yeah, that's what I said. I think the music's carbon copy. Shit pop music that just there's nothing. It doesn't feel like there's any essence or soul in it at all. Okay. It's like if someone presented to you this amazing box, it's all glistening with jewelry, it looks fucking amazing. Wow, it's beautiful. That looks perfect. You open it, there's fuck all in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing in it.
Yeah. My first pick is Happy Hardcore / Scouse House. Now, for any of our American viewers out there who, when I say Happy Hardcore, I do not mean the happy hardcore that we all know about and that we all talk about. No, I'm talking about a subgenre of electronic dance music, and it is terrible. Now, I'm going to attack not just the music here, but the culture that is tied into it. Now, as a bit of a dance music fan to a degree, you know, I like some dance music. I've been to quite a lot of dance music events over the years. I feel I'm qualified enough to know when a certain type of dance music is terrible. Right, now, if you are from the Birkenhead area of the Northwest, as me and Geoff both are, whereas Geoff lives right in Birkenhead, I live not far away from Birkenhead, and you're of a certain age and you went to a certain school, every gobshite, dickhead, horrible twat who was in your school would have listened to this stuff. Now, the music is... Now, you know what I find quite hypocritical about happy hardcore, right? Now, you know the culture I mean.
Yeah.
The Birkenhead Scally culture that is tied in with Scouse House and happy hardcore, right? These are the type of guys who, when you're in the gym, and I honestly, in my gym, it's full of these types of guys. They're the type of guys who do a set and then they shadow box, like that, and they look at themselves in the mirror. And then there's been time, it happens, you know what, it happens all the time. And people say, you shouldn't judge, Danny. Not everyone's the same. No, these dickheads are all the same, trust me, right? I'll be sitting there, right, I'll be training, right, and there'll be two of them, right, these horrible bastards who are listening to their music, right, and you'll be and literally every time the conversation goes something like this. Oh, fucking hell, I haven't seen you in a while. Ah, yeah, I've been inside, haven't I? Fucking hell. Oh yeah, I had to do a fucking 2 year, didn't I? 2 year, fucking broke their ex's jaw, didn't I? And they're literally all the same. Now, I worked in the North End for like 5 years, and I worked with a lot of these guys, and trust me, they're all the fucking same. It seems to be a very, it's a very small-minded culture, like it's very small town mentality culture, I'd say.
Okay.
And going back to the days when we were kids, going to Crazy House in Liverpool, you'd see exactly what it was all about. You'd be going to get the night bus at 3 a.m, going past the 051, while all these horrible beakheads were coming outside after listening to fucking Lee Butler all night, and one of the funniest stories, actually, I remember coming out, and I remember we were scattered. There was gangs of us, there were maybe like 5 little metalheads there, 5 little metalheads a bit further up the street. I remember once AJSYB came running past. A load of people come running past, and he came running past. I said, what's wrong? He said, there's a load of fucking cokeheads just come out the 051, just banging heads together. Wow. And that is literally the kind of shit you had to deal with back then. It's probably not as bad, with Liverpool now being so gentrified with students and all that, it's not as bad as it was 20, 25 years ago. But like I said, the gym I go to a lot, I still deal with a lot of these. Any Northwest people know exactly the kind of music I'm talking about and the people it attracts. Anything to say on it? Because I know you're not a fan and you're from Birkenhead.
Well, I fucking despise happy hardcore, and my thing with happy hardcore is I remember it from school, like you say. So I'm talking, I say like 97.
Kev Seed, mate. Listening to Kev Seed.
Vibes and Lively, DJ Slipmat, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm talking like 97, 98, to 12, 13 in secondary school, and I'm listening to Nirvana, listening to Green Day, Rancid, all that kind of stuff. And everyone else is listening, and they're telling me that I'm listening to absolute garbage shit, you listen to rubbish, you're a little mosh and all that nonsense. And I'm thinking, your fucking ears don't work the same way as mine then, because what you're listening to is trash, like absolute garbage music. I have no time for it. And much like yourself, I wouldn't say I'm an aficionado, but I am a fan of some electronic and dance music. I've got time for some of it.
Yeah.
Time and a place, definitely. Happy hardcore.
It's awful.
It can fuck off.
It's terrible.
No, it can fuck off.
It's awful. And I'll tell you what else is hypocritical about it as well. These lads, they fancy themselves as hard cases, all these. Do you know what I mean? They have the beak, they go out, and they have a line of Charlie, and they just want to fight. Right. Have you ever listened to happy hardcore? Over the beat, it's usually dead effeminate. It's like, you are the one. It's like, how can you be hard when listening to that? Do you know what I mean? Nonsense. Right.
I mean, that was a good 5 minutes on that there, Danny. Like, I'm going post-grunge for my second one.
Right.
Fucking post-grunge.
Before you go any further on this, right? I don't know what post-grunge is. Do you mean like Stained and stuff?
I guess you throw that in there.
Okay,
for sure.
yeah, all right.
So the main sort of originators of this post-grunge. So when I say post-grunge, so obviously after Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, all that blew up. You started getting this slightly watered down, much like any genre really.
A puddle of mud?
Puddle of mud.
Right, okay.
Nickel fucking back.
Okay, I do know what it is then. Okay.
Fucking... So they basically took any of the angst out of grunge music, any of the like punk edge that it had, watered it down so that it could be played on the radio, despite the fact that a lot of grunge was getting fucking played on the radio at the time anyway. Yeah. So you got this middle of the road shit, like Creed, like fucking Nickelback. I know they're a punching bag, but they're a punching bag for a fucking reason, because they're shit. Puddle of Mud, I mean, have you seen that fucking video of him doing about a girl? Oh, you seen it?
Yeah,
It's fucking horrendous, man. But never mind that. Do you remember that song he did? She fucking hates me.
Yeah.
Garbage music again. It's just I've watered down. Fuck off, will yous? Kind of all of those bands wind me up because Creed were fucking huge when I was like early 20s, wasn't it? Nonsense, garbage again. Yeah, absolute shite. So it can fuck off.
My next pick is mumble rap. Oh my god, this stuff. As two hip hop fans, you got sitting here. Think about late 80s and 90s hip hop. It was pissed off. It had something to say. It was like politically, driven. It was so important. It was so important.
It was a movement, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
This shit comes along now, and you've got like there's no meaningful lyrics. It's like it's auto-tuned.
Yeah.
Why would you auto-tune the spoken voice?
I don't know.
It's
T-Pain, man.
auto-tuned.
It's T-Pain thingy that didn't he? Everyone just then you put.
You know what it is? It's lazy. It's lazy. They all sound the same, and it just sounds like they're going. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking turd. It's absolute turd, and it's lazy, and it's overproduced as well. And I tell you what, it reminds me of. If I had to, I know I have my weird comparisons when we do stuff like this, but it reminds me of what's happening in cinema with the superhero thing over the last 20 years. So, like, you look at like. I don't know. In the 90s, you could go to pictures and you could look up at the thingy and you'd see like Jurassic Park, Seven, Forrest Gump. You could pick any one of them to watch at the 7 o'clock showing. Right now, you got you got the Hulk 5, the Wasp, the Spider Baby, or the whatever. All these stupid hero things. It's just generic canned crap with a brand on. And you just go, get it out there and sell it. It doesn't matter what the quality's like. Just get it out there because these divs are going to eat it up.
Yeah.
And that is like, mumble rap is the same for me. It's just wrapped up, packaged, turd. Here, have that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Next one for me. So I'm going out of left field maybe with this one for a bit, but I've got a story to explain it. So I've gone for opera music. So now...
I'm going to defend this. Go on.
Yeah, you can defend it. And I'm also going to say before I start... This is absolutely not a slight on these people can fucking sing. Yeah. The music's, it's beautifully written. I mean, I went to college and did music for 4 years, and we did study a couple of arias and things like that. Unbelievable music, don't get me wrong. However, at the time, I went to Venice with my partner. I was in college at the time, and my musical palette was very wide and open, and I was trying and listening to all kinds of new genres, ones that I hadn't gone down avenues, tried or anything, and opera is one I'd never really touched on. So we're in Venice, when in Rome, as they say. You think, all right, let's go and let's find some, So we found this thing that was fairly cheap, where we'd go watch some opera. It was in a function hall. There was someone on a piano and someone singing, perfectly fine. They could sing and play and all that. We got sat in the middle of the front fucking row. And then we found out that the show was like 2.5 hours long. We couldn't even get up to go to the toilet. Like, I felt fucking awkward as fuck. But then, so this was basically like if you went out and bought probably the best opera album in the world ever, these are all the things that were getting played here. All the classic arias. I felt just so beaten up and exhausted by it. I just couldn't.
So
I can't listen to opera. I can't abide it. I have no disrespect towards it. I respect it quite a bit. The abilities in there.
You've got PTSD.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
That is part of it. In the end, we got an intermission, I'd like to add, and we were just like, fucking, let's go. It was, it literally, it was me trying to dip my toe, and maybe it was the wrong thing. Maybe I should have gone to a proper opera, tried to dip my toe in it, and I just was like, nah, fuck that. Not having that, so yeah.
Just to step in, I mean, you've explained yourself well there, I'll give you that, but one thing I will say is opera and classical. I think, and while I'm not a big fan of either, I can appreciate the talent involved. I appreciate the genius involved, and I think particularly on movie soundtracks,
maybe
there's a space for it for it all. Do you know what I mean? And it does.
Don't mind classical music in general.
But classical music and opera can sometimes get me a bit emotional.
Yeah.
When it catches me in the right mood.
I get that fully.
So. I guess I'm not defending it because you explained yourself, and there you go. My next is ska punk aka third wave ska. Now let me explain. Now, everyone, any long-term followers of this channel would surely know that I'm a huge ska fan. I'm a huge reggae fan. So when I'm talking about good ska, when I think about the greats, your Prince Busters, Derek Morgan, the Scatterlights, these were brilliant artists who created music that you couldn't stand still to, and it was designed to fill dance halls in the West, in the West Indies in the 1950s and 60s, right? And it's brilliant music, and it's influential, and it's been covered everywhere, right? Then we had a second wave here in the UK with the two-tone movement, which was, it was a little bit heavier, a little bit faster. It was a little bit more, I'd say, politically and environmentally motivated, and it had a bit of a punk undertone to it.
Definitely came along with punk, for sure.
It had a lot to say, and I don't think anyone can deny that the bands like The Specials and Madness, and The Beat and all them, and the Body Snap and Madness and all them bands were great, and they were some of the best music ever to come from these shores. When you're talking about third wave ska, oh god, this stuff. I always do a little bit of research when we're doing anything this, just to make sure I don't go back on my choice.
You sitting there listening to these.
Well, I listened to Less Than Jake today, and I was like, this is fucking turd. I listened to Real Big Fish, and I was like, this is fucking turd. And I listened to Goldfinger, and I was like, this is turd. And not only that, I always associate ska music with good dress sense, good clothes. They was all dressed like fucking blades, all this lot. Do you know what I mean? I was watching the music videos, like
Hawaiian shirts and big sunglasses.
Yeah, and I was like, what's all this about? Like, the coolness of Jamaican-inspired music had just gone. They don't have to be dressed like skinheads and all that.
The Boss Tones used to wear suits.
Oh, the Boss Tones I didn't mention.
No,
I didn't mention them. And I've got to say now, I didn't mention the Boss Tones for a reason. The other band I didn't mention is because it's probably the one band I'd say I really like from this era is Operation Ivy. I do actually really like that album. That might surprise a few people.
OGs of third wave.
Yeah.
It's their fault that all those bands exist.
Yeah, now, considering everyone knows I'm not a fan of Rancid, it might surprise people, but I actually do. Is it called Energy, that album?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that album.
It's fucking brilliant.
But this genre here, in general, turd. Hate it.
Amazing.
Anything to say?
No.
You like it?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I had a moment, like in my teens, Less Than Jake definitely I was into. No time for any of that.
Did you get filled in during that time?
No. Okay. I don't remember. No, Operation Ivy, got a lot of time for, but all the rest of it, not interested anymore. So my next one, I've gone for hair metal or glam metal, whatever you want to fucking call this nonsense. Specifically that 80s Sunset Strip whole thing, where you had a bunch of people who'd spend so much time mastering the guitar and putting the makeup on and doing their fucking hairspray that they forgot to write good music. It seems to me like all that stuff is centered on girls drinking, partying, playing as flashy as you can. Again, all technically proficient fucking musicians, great. No substance to any of this stuff, really, I don't think. And not the stuff I'm referring to. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about Poison, talking about Motley Crue. Well, the other one, fucking Warrant. No time for any of that. It's just... It is, that's what I mean, it's just centered on this fucking, like, you've got to play fast and let's look great and we're going to shag as many girls as we can.
That's rock and roll, man.
Nah, it's not the same. To me, I don't get any rock and roll spirit from any of this shit.
No, neither do I. I'm playing devil's advocate.
You're being a bit facetious on me on purpose there, aren't you? But if you go and watch Decline of Western Civilization 2, which I'm sure many of you who watch this will probably have seen the 3 Decline films anyway, which focuses on, like, metal, and it does have some of those glam metal, hair metal, and you just see the fucking... It's sad, some of it. Like, they're so desperate for attention and to be famous.
Yeah.
I've got none of it. It's all style, no substance to me. So yeah, there you go.
I didn't know what this was called. Like, I didn't have a name for it. So about 10, 15 years ago, this type of music, it was on the radio constantly. You couldn't escape it. I knew it was something. I just knew it was some kind of like indie spin-off. But I thought, has it got a name of its own? So I did a bit of research, and I've seen it called on the internet Stomp, Clap, Hey.
I know exactly what you mean as soon as you say that.
Stomp, Clap, Hey, right. This stuff is so... Right, now, where I work, we don't have a music license.
No, sorry.
So we have that like fake music, you know, where it's like fake artists that like...
Yeah.
And I'd say 90% of the playlist is made up of musicians playing this Stomp, Clap, Hey stuff. Right, now, from doing a bit of Googling and that, famous bands of this genre would be Of Monsters and Men and the Lumineers.
Yeah.
I just see it as fucking people who listen to this music. You go in a restaurant and they serve you your chips on a spade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They serve you your chips on a spade and you've got a twizzly moustache and they give you your chips and then they fuck off on a penny farthing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, they always sing about going home as well. Bring me home. Hey, no, no, no. Ho, hey, oh, no, no. Ho. And that is literally what all these songs seem to do. Now, I wondered why in my work we seem to play this stuff constantly. And the only thing I can think of is this music's so inoffensive. Yeah. Like, it's so inoffensive. There's no threat whatsoever.
It's not offending anyone.
It's not offending no one. Apart from me, yeah. That's why they've gone, just fucking slam this shit on there. This won't offend no one. Won't get anyone running out the shop crying, apart from me. But, yeah, it's just... I can't. And they always sing like they're 5 years old as well. Hey! You know, I can't be doing with it. And like I said, it was a bit of a fad, I reckon, around 15 years ago.
It definitely was.
I just, like I say, penny farthings and twizzly moustaches.
All tended to be middle class, upper class people dressing like they were farmers from the 1800s.
Yeah, riding horses.
Right, yeah,
fucking putting barns up.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Cool. So last one for me, and I'm going to specify this, so I've gone for modern country music. The reason I say modern country music is because I quite like some old country music, so obviously the obvious ones, obviously Johnny Cash and Hank Williams and stuff like that. When I say modern country, this is the stuff that started with Billy fucking Ray Cyrus, Garth Brooks, where all the kind of like rebellious outlaw nature that came in country music kind of got swept away, and until eventually you got into the 2000s and to now, where, like Danny said about mumble rap, there seems to be a lot of fucking auto-tune now in country music. Very sheen.
But they sing now, don't they? They do. Mumble rap, they're talking. Why'd you auto-tune a talk?
I don't know. But anyway, it's just fucking... I feel like, again, it's lost its soul. It's lost any kind of like rebelliousness it seemed to have about it. People singing about their shiny truck and how much they love it, and then singing about their girl and how much they can't decide how much they love their truck or their girl more. All the videos I've seen seem to be like hip hop was in the early 2000s. They're all in fucking with like shiny cars with loads of girls around them and fucking flashing.
Sounds like Kid Rock.
Well, it's not that far fucking removed from Kid Rock, to be fair. And it just, I despise it, and I hear it all the fucking time through a certain family member and someone I work with as well who love a lot of this stuff. So I do hear it, and every time I hear it, I just think, I'm gonna fucking peel my skin off. And yeah, I hate it, and that's it. I'm ending it there.
For my last pick, I've picked two genres that are very closely tied, so I'm kind of having like a 2-in-1 here, and I've gone slam metal and deathcore. So just a rundown quick of slam. For one, the thing that turns me off instantly is the horrible burpy vocal. It's just ridiculous. It's inaudible. Obviously, it's some of these bands I guess are quite funny when they're not taking themselves too seriously, but as a huge classic death metal fan, I think the one album when I was collecting all death metal in my early 20s, late teens, was the one album that really I didn't like from that period was the first Suffocation album, Effigy of the Forgotten.
Really?
I didn't like it. Yeah. I just didn't like it. I was like, and a lot of people say that was the first Slam album.
Okay.
And you can see it because the sound is kind of, you can see that set definitely influenced stuff like, I mean, you got them and Internal Bleeding and stuff, but then later on when it's just like, I can't even do it. I can't do the vocal.
I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean. It's silly. Yeah, it's silly. I don't like it. And then deathcore. I mean, talking about generic. Like this is like. Do you know what I mean? Well, one thing that annoys me about this stuff is in the early 2000s, you get all these scene kids who claim they were into hardcore, and then they talk to you about bands, and they'd name all this stuff, and you'd be going, and you'd listen to it, and you go, it's not fucking hardcore about that. Do you know what I mean?
Add a beat down or a breakdown.
Yeah, and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? I hate the artwork was always over polished and horrible, and you know, it's really overproduced. I think. Don't get me wrong, a lot of these people are insanely talented. So similar to what you were saying about opera, I guess, in terms of talent, a lot of these people are like the drummers especially are outrageous, obviously, like almost jazz drummers at times. But in terms of music, doesn't mean you're making good music though. No. But yeah, a lot of this stuff like Suicide Silence and the Atheist Drain. Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
Yeah, like
I've seen it written down.
All that stuff. It's just, like I say, it's just generic, horrible. Like it looks too clean and it's too overproduced and it's just rubbish. I'm not into any of that crap.
I would concur.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So those are our picks.
It's time for Conned Are They? There's been a con this week. It's not. It's more of a story Geoff's got to say. It is a con. Tell your story, it's a good one.
Yeah, okay, cool. So on Friday, just a couple of days ago, I went to see Rival Schools, me and my partner, and got there about 20 minutes after doors, and we were mulling about downstairs. We were walking up the stairs to the room where the gig was going to be. So there was no one else on the stairs, just me and my partner, and then there was another a guy and a girl behind us, and he was kind of walking with his hood up, and he was walking with a purpose. He looked like he was on a mission. And as he walked past me, I turned to my partner, and I was like, that was Walter Streifels. And she was looking at like, was it? And he turned around, he obviously heard me, and he went, oh, hi man, like, put his hand out, shook his hand, and I was like, oh, it's great to meet you, man, nice one. And that was it. And he walked off. We got up to the doors for the venue, to the room, and I was checking my ticket, and Walter Streifels is there, standing there. The guy on the door is like, I can't let you in, if you don't have a pass. And he was like, yeah, okay. He's like, all right, I'm in the band. So I stood there and I just went, listen guys, this is the singer of the band we've all come to see, like, he's definitely in the band. So Walter got conned, and I feel like
Walter had to pay to get into his own gig. he got conned.
Nearly did. But I feel like I got him in the end, so yeah, that's that.
Yeah. Not much of a con, but there you go.
It was a good story. I just wanted to tell that story.
No, that's a good story, yeah.
So there. Anyway, let us know in the comments all your genres you fucking hate, and if we've picked any that you love. I'm sure.
Attack!
I'm sure you'll come and tell us. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Go and ring the bell, and you know, Instagram, Facebook, as messages, follows, all that stuff. We'll see you next time.